But I think that in today's day and age, work security is non-existent. Hello everyone, Baconstache here. How's everybody doing? Today we're going to do some reaction. Let me get right to it, shall we? Man, those videos are always scary. Whenever somebody like turns a certain age and he's making a video reflecting about his life, that always gets me. Me feel depressed, especially because I'm gonna turn 30 soon. Man, you know, when I was 20, I thought I would be in a certain place, have a certain amount of money and a job, maybe a girlfriend, or let alone a wife by the time that I reach 30. But I don't feel that I'm anywhere close to that, and this is really depressing. Anyway, let's not think about it. Let's watch somebody else make us depressed about our lives rather than me depressing myself. So, Claudia, wonder if that's a good video. Let's give it a shot, shall we?
I am 31 years old today. Today is August 2nd. And it feels like my life is starting over.
Really?
Completely.
Why is that?
In aspects like what I'm interested in, what I want to pursue career-wise, professionally.
Okay.
And feels like everything else has been reset in a way.
Okay. Why is that?
When I was a teenager, I always thought that growing up and becoming an adult is like
the end goal, right?
you know, like
You
graduate high school, you go to college, you get your degree, you get into a corporate, and while you're working that full-time job on the side, you have your hobbies and some projects. And for me, that used to be, and that still is, playing the drums, filming. But I didn't realize that I was living in a loop since then.
Okay.
What I mean is, when I started working in corporates for the past 10 years...
Dude, the volume is too damn high of the music.
I was
Why?
just switching from basically the same type of job, but then into a new environment that turned out to be the same type of environment. Which in a corporate world, that basically means that, you know, you can get replaced anytime. You spend a lot of hours also commuting to the office, going back.
You can get
Basically
replaced everywhere.
My entire youth.
There is no safe job. Doesn't exist.
Things that I realize I should be doing on a daily basis. So when I realized that I have been living in a loop, something unexpected happened beginning of this year. So I have been working in a company for a few years, and my contract was supposed to get extended, and
and it didn't.
I trusted that, and I relied all of my life,
you got
my
fired,
plans into getting that contract and into getting that, you know, stability and assurance that I'll need for my further plans. I even thought about, you know, starting a family would be easier now because I would finally have something stable for, you know, a long time.
You didn't.
And in that moment, beginning of the year, when my contract did not get extended, that was, it felt like the whole world turned upside down for me. And mainly because I attached myself to getting that contract and getting that.
As a person who got fired from multiple jobs, I know that feeling. Especially when this is a job that you really, really liked and worked for a while in and poured all of your heart and soul into. Yeah, so for me, like in my early 20s, I was very lucky and I got into a tech company, worked as a programmer. Actually, that was my first programming job, and I've worked there for almost 2 years, had great pay, had great hours, and the people around me I really enjoyed being with. And the company got into financial trouble and they had to let me go. And that was a huge slap in my face whenever that happened. They didn't only let me go. It was, I think you say in English, foreclosure, if I'm not mistaken. I hope I'm right. If not, you can fix me. But like the company was, didn't have enough money to keep existing. So they had to get rid of almost everybody. Oh shit, there is a word in English for it. I just don't remember what that word is. So they had to let everybody go, almost everybody, aside from the CEO and the CTO and the rest of them. But the majority of people had to be let go. And it was just sad to see all of the people who loved your company stressing every day in their work and trying to search for alternative jobs because they don't know what will happen tomorrow. And you know, people who really loved working with each other, suddenly they all know that they will have to go. So anyway, that was a very depressing experience. But I think that what I've learned from that experience is just how fragile life is and how replaceable we all are. And I think that all of us want to dream, me too, of working in a place that like will give you long-term security. But I think that in today's day and age, work security is non-existent. Maybe if it exists, it's for a very short period of time. So it doesn't matter how educated you are, how many years you've put into your craft. You're very replaceable. We are replaceable. So I think it's very important for us to work on becoming what is the word for it? Becoming like jack of all trades and being able to jump from one place to another. And the best thing you can do is have multiple places that give you income. Don't rely on one place. It's very bad. It's unsustainable for the long run.
Life that I planned out for myself, that imaginary life that does not exist, you know, to put everything on one card was a mistake, and I realized that this year. And so I realized that being my own boss, being financially independent, doing things that I love, that bring me joy, passion, but also things that bring other people maybe joy or passion. Or if someone, you know, before I made this video, I watched a lot of videos of other people sharing their perspectives, and I feel like that really helped me understand certain moments, what's happening in my life, why do I feel like I am not the same person as I was, why do I feel like this is my life and I should be doing what I set out to do. And so that realization beginning of the year was pretty deep for me. And when my world kind of got, turned upside down in that moment, I needed a plan. I knew that I needed a plan. I knew that I couldn't go, down a path where it would be hard to get out from. So since I want to be financially independent and be my own boss, the most natural way was to pursue our business idea together with my partner. And so we did. I quickly, tried to get myself involved as much as possible in the creation of our startup. And that really helped me to, well, first of all, keep busy and keep acknowledging that I am not my job that I just lost. I never was my job that I just lost, but that I'm me, and that like all the attachments that I had to this one thing that I lost, I just realized that those were just attachments, and they were blocking me from growing. And inner growth has been very important and very active for me for the past 3 years, I would say, but especially this year. And today on my birthday, I've really felt that I wanted to share my perspective and reflection on how things go. And so I realized I'm not my job, and then I realized I'm not my thoughts. I'm not my thoughts about, oh, I should be a marketing manager, because that's what I studied for and that's what I worked for in the past 10 years. And so I realized that working for another company or another employee would never fulfill me in the same way as having my own business. And so I wanted to let go of that mindset of pursuing jobs.
I can relate to how she feels very much, but I also think that at least the way that she's speaking about it, it still sounds like she's talking in black and white, and life has a lot of gray in it. People think that the solution of like not having the feeling of security in a job in a corporate world is becoming independent, and this is false. I mean, like, yes, you cannot be replaced if you are your own boss. This is true, but by the end of the day, you're still serving somebody. You are serving people. You are serving customers, and those customers are always looking for something better than you. Like, even though you might create a lot of good customers that will love working with you, in the end, business is a business, and you have competitors. Technology changes. The way this stuff, the expectation and the price are changing all the time. And like, even if she were, or if she did, became independent, she will still not have that long-term security, because she will always need to be on her toes, trying to get new customers, making sure that her work is better than other companies and other competitors in her field, being afraid of losing your job to AI or some other services that are cheaper or more accessible to your customers. So long-term work security, I think, does not exist. There are a lot of benefits of going independent, but you will still have plenty of problems. And you will have also new problems that didn't exist when you worked at a company. So to make long story short, it doesn't matter where you work, whether you're employed by somebody or you are the manager or you are independent worker, there will be challenges, there will be problems, and there will be things you will not expect that will come up that you will have to deal with. And this is just life. It's all adapting to situation and learning and evolving. And fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, we need to try to just adapt to life, because life will throw at us a lot of shit. And I hope that she will become successful going independent. But I hope that whenever she becomes independent, or if she's already independent, if like something will go wrong or go to shit, I hope she will not like throw her hands in the air and said, oh, I thought that my life will finally have job security when I'm independent, and suddenly I don't have it. Like, I hope she will be like, okay, so apparently being independent also have its own fair share of shit to deal with that I didn't have when I had a corporate job, but I'll manage it. I'm a big girl, I can manage it. Because like the way she's speaking, it sounds like she's thinking that like going independent will solve all of her problems, but it won't. It will just breed new types of problems that did not exist before. But that's all right. We all have to deal with it. If not today, tomorrow. And that's true to every kind of job, by the way. Every kind of job has it.
Jobs all the time, because that's basically what I have been doing for the past 10 years. And since I let go of that perspective, of trying to find another similar type of job, I realized that maybe this is the time where I can do things on my own, for myself, you know, bring out some value to the world if I can. And in what ways, you know, in what ways can I shine, or in what ways can I bring fulfillment to myself and to maybe others. So this new perspective gave me so much power to really understand what's going on, that I am changing. I guess I'm growing. I want to live life the way I want to live.
Okay.
And I don't want to do things that don't resonate with my soul, with my inner growth, and what really makes me happy. And yeah, it really helped me to understand how to move forward, because when you do things that don't resonate with your soul, eventually you'll feel stuck and lost, and that's, I guess, how I have been feeling. You know, when I had my 9-to-5 jobs for the past 10 years, almost feels like I lost a sort of life force sometimes. And yeah, it felt a bit scary because that.
Yeah, I think that I completely agree and I completely understand what she's talking about. Like, whenever you're doing a job, almost, I can talk for all of the jobs because I haven't been working in every kind of job imaginable, but I have my fair share of work experience. I've dabbled in a lot of fields, and I feel that, like, it doesn't matter what type of job you do, even if it's your dream job, whatever you do. And that's, I can like talk from like personal experience. Like, when I was a kid, I always dreamed of becoming a programmer. And I used to work, like I was talking about earlier, at a tech company. And it was one of the most fun jobs I've ever had in my life. I enjoyed it very much, and I got really great pay and really great working terms. It was, by all counts, the most perfect job I could imagine in my dreams. But the more I worked there, the more I've started to notice the flaws. Things that, in my imaginations, I didn't think would be a problem for me. Like, for example, I was programming in front of a computer screen for 8, sometimes 9 hours a day. That sounds, for some of you, like the best thing in the world, especially if you come from type of job like if you're working like in McDonald's and you are making hamburgers, barely getting any pay, working in a noisy environment, working around oil and heat and stress and customers yelling. So like, from that perspective, if you look like at like old me when I was working as a programmer in a company, sitting in a nice desk with a nice computer, in quiet, and having like a nice AC, and the temperature was always all right. It looks like heaven, right? It looks like heaven. But on the other hand, I had my fair share of problems. Like, one of them was, many times I didn't feel like sitting on my computer. Many times I felt lonely. I felt not only lonely, I felt alone. I felt like I'm a machine that need to pump code and just shut up and don't do anything else. And like, one of the things that really helped me survive and not get extremely depressed was the fact that I could go to the cooler, drink some water, get refill of coffee, something like that. And like, the cooler was in the kitchen, and like many people were at the kitchen, and we sat down and started to talk with each other about life and stuff like that. And I think that the fact that I had the ability to speak with people really helped me keep my sanity at the work. People, like, I don't smoke, which on the surface is very good, right? But because I don't smoke, I didn't have smoke breaks. I was supposed to work all the time, aside from my one small break that I'm getting whenever I am eating. So I had to work for many hours between the food break, and I was just like staring at a computer and typing code all day. So yeah, at least having the ability to, you know, go to the kitchen and interacting with some people, laughing a little bit, smiling, that helped me keep my sanity. But I think that this is something that is not only like has to do with programming. It doesn't matter which type of job you do. I can tell you that I have this problem as well right now when I'm streaming, you know? Right now, streaming is not my job. I hope that one day it can become my job. If you want to help me with that, feel free to support me. Just watching the video and having a good time is more than I could ask as a support. So I enjoy streaming. That's why I do it. And of course, I hope that one day streaming can become a full-time job for me. But even now that it isn't a full-time job, I treat streaming the same way as a job. I am consistently uploading, I'm consistently streaming, I'm consistently editing videos, I'm consistently coming with ideas of what to do next. And although the job is I call it a job even though I'm not making money right now. But although streaming is super fun, I love it very much. I won't replace it for the world. Sometimes you feel the same kind of feelings you get from working in a corporate job. You feel like, oh shit, I don't feel like streaming today. I don't feel like smiling today. I just want to lay in the bed and sleep. Or like, you feel like, oh, today I don't have motivation, or like, oh, I need to play the same game that I played yesterday. And the game is great. The game is fun. It's not about the game. It's about that loop of doing it again and again and again, and doing it on a consistent basis. So the problem is not streaming. The problem is the fact that when you do something as work means that you need to always output new stuff again and again on a daily basis. You need to have consistency. You need to be there for the customer. And in streaming case, the customer is the viewers. It's you, right? So whenever you take any type of hobby, maybe you like drawing, maybe you like singing, maybe you like acting, maybe you like programming, maybe even, I don't know, maybe you like tasting food. It doesn't matter. There are so many type of fun things you can do in life, a lot of hobbies, a lot of dream jobs, things that would look like the best thing in the world. And you know, like people, there is a saying like, if you I don't know, shit, I don't want to butcher the saying, but if you do what you love, you will never work a day in your life, something like that. I'm probably butchering it, but whatever, fuck it. So even though there is some truth to this saying, I don't agree with the saying. And I don't agree with that saying because I personally do the stuff that I love, and I did the stuff that I love when I worked other jobs. And sometimes it's getting depressing as hell. Sometimes it's getting tiring, and sometimes you just don't want to do it. So I'm not saying that like if you work at a restaurant under heat and stress and yelling, that's worse than like working at a corporate job as a programmer under AC in good condition with good people and getting good pay. Of course it's worse. But even if you're working the most comfortable environment in the world with the nicest people in the world, and you're making great amount of pay, we will always run into that problem that like sometimes we're not up to it. Sometimes we need a breather. We need some time off. We need to release steam. We're not machines. We need some time off. We need to refresh our brains. So if you do something for too long, too much, it's not fun, even if it's the best work in the world. Yeah, and I love streaming. I loved programming. I'm feeling very glad and blessed that I can do those kind of things. But it doesn't change the fact that when you do something as work, you will not have fun all the time. There will be a lot of times you will not have fun. And there will be times when you will have to do your job whenever you don't want to. And this is because it's a job.
Life force that I once had to pursue my creative ambitions and my musical ambitions, that just brought me joy. You know, making music and making videos just brings me pure joy. And so I forgot to do these things when I worked all the time. And so now when I realize that I want to do things on my own, with my full heart and soul aligning, I realize that that's what life is about. That this journey we're on, this realization that many people have eventually, sooner or later, that it's your life to live. And if you felt like me, that, you know, the life force is gone and it feels scary, and I didn't know if I'm gonna get it back. I didn't know that life could be lived differently. I also had to let go of my beliefs that I had. So I guess one of those beliefs was believing that a 9-to-5, a corporate environment is the most safe and secure place, and that's where you should have a job in. And on the side you have the hobbies like drumming, filming, and everything else. So I created a separation already by my, you know, what my soul wants versus what I guess the ego wants, right? Because eventually it comes down to money when it comes to jobs. And so I had to let go of that belief, and that felt really empowering because I've never had that before. You know, in the past, if I would switch a job, I would be like, oh, I'm never getting this type of job again. And then I end up getting it anyway. And now it feels different. Now it feels that I finally trust myself. I believe that I can do what I want to do in this life. And yeah, I am, even though I have way less assets that I used to have when having, you know, corporate jobs, I feel more happy and I feel more content with the things that I do. I feel that I have given myself that space back to, you know, where I used to be a kid and I had so many dreams, ambitions, and was just living life, you know, in the moment, in the present moment, and living life to the fullest, enjoying every single day. I brought that back just by letting go of certain beliefs. And so that really helped me to understand where I'm going, understand where I'm at, and that just being in the moment is the most beautiful thing you can do for yourself.
That's true.
Reflecting on the past, I love doing that because it teaches me so much.
I had a period of my life that I was very, very, how do you say that? I was hyper-focused on trying to understand happiness and trying to read as much as I can about the science of happiness. And one of my most profound realization after reading some books about scientists who try to learn about happiness is that it looks like the human brain is programmed not to be happy. It goes against our natural programming. Well, maybe natural programming is not the right way to say it, but we are always, like, our brain is always craving new stimuli. It's always getting used to stuff. It's getting used to activities. It's getting used to people. It's getting used to experiences. Like, for example, I'll give you the easiest example, all right? Eating a cake or ice cream or sushi, you can switch it up with whatever gives you joy. It's very fun. It might make you extremely excited. Let's say you ate a cake, but if you eat a cake every day of your life, the amount of happiness you derive from that cakes will go down and down and down and down the more you eat every time you eat it. And you will get to the point that the cake will make you want to puke. And I'm not talking about the dietary and the health benefits of eating a cake, which there are probably none. It's very extremely unhealthy. But we're getting like out of the assumption that like cake is like, let's say if cake in a different world, if cake did not make you gain weight and, you know, become extremely unhealthy, if there wasn't any unhealthy benefit to it. You just eat it and it tastes good and that's about it. So if you think about it from this perspective, like, why wouldn't you want to eat a cake every day, right? I mean, it sounds like heaven. And if you eat a cake once, eat a cake twice, eat a cake 3 times, that might be true. But once you start to eat it every day, your brain will get used to the cake and you will hit a point when the cake does not derive any more joy to you. And you will get to a certain point when the cake makes you disgusted and want to puke. So what I'm trying to get to is the fact that it doesn't matter if you're doing something good. It doesn't matter if you're having the most fun in the world. Your brain is always craving something new. It's always craving different stimuli. It cannot sustain itself from the same stimuli again and again all over. The brain is programmed to always look for something different and something new and exciting that will replace something that you already do. It doesn't mean that you always need to buy stuff or always need to do new stuff. stuff. There are tricks to work the brain. Like, for example, after you eat a cake, you can eat something else or have a period of time of not eating a cake. And then if you eat a cake again, you will feel the same excitement you felt the first time that you eat it. So it's about having balance of how much you do and time that you don't do, and then you come back to doing again. I think that it's very, very hard for me to explain it and give justice to the explanation of it. So I hope that I managed to get my point across to some degree, because I think it's very, very complicated to explain it. But the point is that you need to play tricks on your brain to stay happy. The brain is not programmed to be happy on its own. You just need to work on yourself to stay happy. And also, one thing that I realized, and I think is very important, is that happiness is not a place you go to. Happiness is something that is fleeting. It's a fleeting moment. We're not always happy. We are content. And then we have periods of happiness. And then going back to being content. Or being depressed, or I don't know, whichever place you are on the graph. But happiness is like, whoop, happiness, not happy. Not sad, but not happy. Just content. Contentment, happiness, contentment. Happiness, contentment. It's not a constant. You can be always happy. You can be happy sometimes. You can't be happy all the time. And it's okay. So the trick is, instead of trying to be happy all the time, is just trying to have as many happy points inside contentment. It's like contentment, happiness, yeah, small happiness. Small moments of happiness are better than trying to have long-term happiness, because I don't think that long-term happiness exists. But it's also very, very, very complicated. I can't do justice to explaining it. Like, in my brain, it's very easy. It's not easy, but like, I understand it fundamentally whenever I'm thinking about it in my brain. But when I'm trying to like verbalize it, it's very hard, man. So you will have to do with whatever I manage to explain, because yeah, I'm trying to do it raw, and it's very hard, and it's okay.
And throughout, these months,
it's okay not to feel
many,
happy.
Realizations
it's normal.
Where it's like, that's why this happened, or I don't know. Some things just make more sense to me now, just by looking back at what happened, and by viewing things from maybe a new perspective and a bit non-attachment, as I would say. I'm here at this park. I love being out in the nature. It really gives me a calm perspective, where I can maybe reflect a little bit more on things. But so I'm 31, and I never thought that I would be starting over at this age, and then coming back to what I said in the start. As a teenager, I thought life would be so much different. At age 30, I'm gonna be married, have a big house, maybe.
Hey, what was I talking about in the beginning? See?
I don't know, things like that. But life is so much different. Life is, I don't know, as a kid, I guess I thought that something within the now would change, that we would become, of course, we become wiser, and we understand things from a deeper perspective when we grow up, as we grow up. But it's still you, and it's still just this present moment. And so, yeah, I'm not gonna wait anymore, because it's always gonna be the present moment. It's always gonna be now. And yeah. So I feel like starting over with basically from scratch, letting go of the professional career perspective that I have to do certain jobs, because that's what I have been doing for the past 10 years. I trust myself to pursue my business, to do what I want, to share and spread joy, and hopefully maybe inspire other people. Maybe you're going through the same. Other videos definitely help me. Starting over at this age, it feels very scary because I'm aware of the time and my, biological clock, the pressures from that side, up to, becoming financially independent or financially stable. It's very scary. But I feel that because I have let go of certain beliefs and certain, systems that I've had on how life works, I see life and I take every day in with a new perspective, or with a beginner's mindset maybe, where, anything can happen. There's so many possibilities in a day. Nothing is set in stone. Because, sometimes I had moments where I want to do something and then I just think about doing that, and then I just block myself because I'm like, oh, maybe it's a waste of time, or maybe I should do something else instead. And all these, chats that we have on a daily basis, it's sometimes frustrating, but there's a lot to learn from them, from these moments. And so, I feel like
Whack, exactly. Whack. I agree with the duck.
Pursuing what you love, what you're passionate about. And if you don't know what you're passionate about, then that's even better. Then you have, so many things you could try. You can either try new things, or, do nothing, or just practice mindfulness to feel that inner joy again, and realize that nothing external will make you happy in the end. It's all about your inner journey and your perspectives.
That's true.
And so thank you for watching. Appreciate it. And have a nice day. It's a beautiful day.
Aww. Thank you, Claudia. That was a very nice video. I enjoyed it very much. Actually made me reflect a little bit about my own experience with job and life. And what can I say? Life is very complex. So today was a little bit special. I had some reflection time. I hope you guys will have a lovely day or night. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.